All right, I'm going to go back to the beginning when I was 16 and I started having eye problem. Um, Basically, I was just like going blind in one eye, and the doctor said, "Oh, don't worry, it's not going to happen to the other eye." And they did something to stop the vision loss. But in stopping the vision loss, they created a permanent scar in the center of my vision, which meant I can't see really with that eye at all. I couldn't see to read or to drive or to do anything with that eye. So life is going on, and my dad was dying, and it started in my other eye. Turns out stress is a factor. So here I am, knowing my dad is going to die and thinking I'm going to be going blind, because the way they stop the problem is by putting that laser there and scarring it, and thinking, okay, it's done. By the grace of God, there was a doctor who said, "I got something, I don't know if it's going to work, let's try it," and gave me an injection in my eye. And trust me, if you've never had it, you never want a needle stuck in your eyeball. But by the grace of God, it worked. Brought back my vision. The vision that was gone came back, and it was amazing. Well, I had to have many of those injections over the course of time. Stress brought it on. There was a lot of stress as a first-year teacher in Buffalo Public Schools.
Hang on. And what she has is something called PIC. Punctate interchoroidopathy is what it's called, and it basically means inflammation in the eye that will create blind spots, and they can be permanent if they're not arrested, and then your eye will just go blind. So go ahead and say.
So, the treatments are wonderful because they're saving my vision and I can see, but they cause glaucoma and cataracts. So, therefore, in my good eye, I had to go through and have cataract surgery. Wasn't a big deal. Got a new job after a horrible year at Buffalo Schools, and it was wonderful. Charter school, didn't have to teach older grades, taught kindergarten through 6th grade. First week or two of school, I found out that my eye pressure went crazy high. I had glaucoma. They had to do glaucoma surgery, and I had to be on bed rest for a week or two after that. The same week we're moving, and just life was a mess. But by the grace of God, He allowed my principal to be understanding, and I got to keep my job, even though I had only been there for a week or two when this all happened. The Lord, through that rough time, restored my vision. The pressure was good. Things were great. I continued to have these episodes where I'd have blind spots and get injections in my eye. It's wonderful that they're working, but each time I was getting injections, they were leaving a little scar. So I started to have this permanent, and I still do, this permanent scar in my eye, meaning there's a little bit of vision loss in my good eye. And so then we talked to doctors. I used to fly to Maryland, to Johns Hopkins, at least, 4 times a year. Sometimes I can go down 2 times a year, have to take a taxi or public transportation, get to the hospital. It was a mess. But I saw some wonderful doctors, and one of the doctors who was there, and then he moved to Nebraska, said, "Well, you should try this new thing. It's called a Retisert implant." And basically they put this tiny little thing in my eye, and it's going to keep giving out steroids to my eye. So instead of getting injections for 2 to 3 years, this little thing is going to just release steroids and keep away blind spots. So went in. It was incredibly scary to have that surgery because there were tons of risks, and they're putting something in my eyeball. It could have gone wrong. It could have gotten an infection. Very easy to go blind during that process. Surgery went smoothly, so they said, and Rich and I had vacation right after. We went away, and my vision just started getting worse and worse. But I thought, well, my prescription's probably changing. We didn't worry about it a lot. I go back to the doctor, and turns out that when they sealed my eye, like closed, stitched it up and whatever after the surgery, it wasn't sealed properly, and it started leaking with my eye. My eye fluid was leaking out. So I didn't know this was possible. My retina wrinkled like a raisin, and I had wrinkles in my retina, therefore I couldn't see. And they said, this may be permanent. The wrinkles may never go away. Even when your eye just like reinflates, it might not come back. So I'm still working. I never just like took off time to and didn't go to work. So this is February. I'm driving to school in snowstorms when I can't see, and the grace of God, I didn't kill myself in the car and was able to work. And this doctor said, okay, in order to help your eye pressure go back up and get to a normal place, I should put this medicine in. Well, it turns out he made a very bad choice, because it made my pressure go insanely high, so much so that my eye could have had a stroke. It was that high. And so I didn't know what to do, and it was so painful and so horrible. I honestly thought I was going to die. Like, I literally thought, and you wouldn't think your little eye could cause that much issue, but I thought I was going to die. And I went into the doctor. I'm like, I need help. I can't do this. And he said, all right, we're going to go in for emergency surgery. And it was actually making me vomit. It was so high. And so I had just vomited. And he's like, I can't put you to sleep. I can't give you any anesthesia. I'm like, okay, just go ahead and do it. So I'm wide awake. All I did was numb my eye. And he's like, okay, I'm cutting a slit here, and I'm opening this, and you're going to feel water pouring in there. And he took out the rest of the medicine. And I came out of the surgery with a smile on my face. I just went through surgery, but I was like so relieved the pressure was down. It was just, I couldn't express how wonderful it was. And it was the doctor's mistake to put that stuff in my eye, but the Lord used it, because it could have been a disaster. But the Lord used that to push the wrinkles out of my retina and restored my vision, which is the grace of God, because it was a doctor's mistake that could have been an eye stroke. So that's, a direct relationship to Romans 8:28. God works everything out for the good for those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. So, he worked that out. And the other thing is, the Retisert should have lasted 2, maybe into 3 years. They said like 2.5. It's been 3 years and 9 months, and I still have not had an issue, which is incredible. Yes, praise the Lord. The only thing is, the Retisert then, by putting that steroid in my eye, caused glaucoma again. Even though I already had glaucoma, the surgery that I had has scarring over it, so the eye is not draining properly. So we're on vacation, and I wake up with cloudy vision, and we go to the eye doctor. We woke up at his parents' house. The only reason we're at his parents' house is his dad wasn't well, and we didn't know if he was going to be okay. But if we hadn't been in his parents' house, I couldn't have gotten to the doctor, and then it would have been the weekend, and who knows what would have happened with the pressure. So Rich races, gets me to the doctor. He said, all right, we're going to cut, and it's everything that's done to your eye is just terrible. Aunt Kathy knows. You're going to cut where the scarring is over my eye. Rich was there. He got to stay in the room with me. And put this stuff in so it doesn't scar. Sounds wonderful. And it worked. It brought the pressure right down. He said it would. But he said it can cause dry eye. He didn't take into account the factor I have terrible dry eye to begin with because of everything my eyes have been through. So my eye pressure went down, but then it started getting blurry. And the one day I'm at home on some vacation, and I call Rich. I'm like, my vision is really blurry, and we don't know what's happening. So I went to the doctor. He's like, everything looks fine. It's just really dry. I said, but I can't see. So it turns out the blurriness is from dry eye, and it's been ongoing for several weeks to the point where I couldn't see to read, and I couldn't see to look and see faces. I was seeing about 20/60, but it was really bad. And during the visits to the eye doctor, my pressure went back up, which is horrible. Went up to 21, and it's like I have horrible dry eye, I can't see, and the pressure went back up. Well, the grace of God, I had a doctor who was willing to stay later in the office last Thursday, and he said, let's try, yes, it was last Thursday, let's try putting a plug in your eye, and it's going to block so the tears flow into your eye, therefore it's going to make it moist and lubricated. Because he was saying put drops in, do this, nothing is helping me. I still couldn't see. So he did that on Thursday. Friday, vision was horrible. Saturday, vision's horrible. Sunday, vision's horrible. Monday, vision's horrible. The thing is, I had to go to work on Tuesday. I worked last week, but it was like professional development and meetings. I had to go to work on Tuesday for the first day with my students and teach them when I can't see to read their names and I can't see faces. It was like a nightmare. I told Rich I'm sick to my stomach. So, day 1 of school this year, on Tuesday, I had horrible vision. My grandmother I knew was going to die any day. I go out to start my car, and my battery is dead. The first day of school. And it's like, Lord, do you hear me? Because I had pleaded, I had begged with the Lord, please, I can deal with bad vision during the weekend, whatever. Please let me be able to see clearly on Tuesday. And his answer was, not my time. And I just wrote down a couple verses that helped me. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Okay, Lord, so I'm clinging to you that you are going to give me enough vision, you have beyond 2020. Give me those eyes so I can see. And another verse is just really simple, Psalm 56:3. Whenever I'm afraid, I'll trust in you, because I was scared to death to go to work, and then my battery dies. So, Rich rushes home from work. His boss let him leave. I called AAA. The guy jumps my car, tells me I just need to get a new battery. I got to work with 10 minutes to spare, because I always get there early, so I thank the Lord. But it's funny. This is all happening, and there's a song. You know, sometimes the Lord will bring a song to your mind. He brought a song to my mind I didn't want him to, because I heard this song in my head over the weekend too. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cutlass. It may not be anybody's style of music, but I heard it on Family Life Radio. And the chorus is this, and I didn't want the Lord to put this in my head, but he did. Even if the healing doesn't come, and life falls apart, and dreams are still undone, you are God, you are good, forever faithful one, even if the healing doesn't come. That's in my head, and I'm thinking, Lord, I want the healing to come. How am I supposed to live a life when I can't see? So, I got through, by the grace of God, only by his strength and power, I got through day 1 of school. And I had a doctor's appointment immediately after, and I went to a doctor, and he's like, is it helping? I said, no, not one bit is it helping. He said, okay, well, let's put in a second plug. So there's a lower one. He said that's responsible for most of the tears. Let's put in the one up top. Let me just say, you never, ever want to get a plug in your eye, because that's a form of human torture. It's horrendous having that plug
in your eye.
In her tear duct.
It's in my tear duct. But he has to like stretch out the corner of my eye with tweezers before he puts it in. And it took him, like Rich was there for the first one. It was horrible, but it was quick. It took him so long to get this second plug in. And I'm just holding on for dear life and trying not to move, because I don't want him to like miss and poke my eye. He got it in, and well, he's in the process of trying to get it in. And I said to him, boy, I have no problem with tears right now, because they're flowing down my face. He's like, I was just thinking the same thing. So he gets the plug in, my eye's watering, and he said, you might have a watery eye. I said, I don't care if I have a watery eye. If this brings back my vision, that's fine. So I'm driving. I call Aunt Kathy and tell her about it, and I had to go teach a French horn lesson. And I know I couldn't see the girls' music, but I kind of have it memorized, so I can kind of fake when I teach her, because I know like how it's supposed to sound and what the notes are. But I'm sitting in her lesson, and I'm like, I can kind of see her music. And I go home, and I'm like, Rich, I can kind of see. But I didn't want to get too excited. I wake up in the morning, and I can see. And I got through the day yesterday, and I'm having moments. I mean, I'm not seeing super clear, but the severity of how badly I was seeing to what I'm seeing now, and you probably see my eyes just watering, and it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Kids keep saying, you're crying, Mrs. Kester. No, I just have allergies. You know, I do. I really do.
Crying for joy.
Exactly. Exactly. So I still am on a road to get better, but through all of this, and especially recently, it's just the Lord showing me he's in control. He knows what he allows in my life. It's not a surprise to him. He's going to use it for my good. And even when the healing doesn't come, he is still God. He is still good. And I guess the Lord is using this to test my faith and showing me even more how dependent I am on him.
Amen.
Yes.
So that is my story.
I got a question. Did the